Men and women are different. We have different roles in romantic relationships. And if you want to be the aggressor in your relationship, you are not going to attract a man that is fundamentally, at his core, a masculine energy man, because a man that is masculine in his energy is going to want to be with a woman that is supportive, nurturing, loving, and is able to step back a little bit and let him be a man in the relationship. So, well, I had a different video planned for today. This was not what I was intending to speak about. I had a whole script and all this planned out for the last week to please the algorithm gods, to please you guys. And although, you know, maybe I will mix in some of those on my channel, I realized that I want to be here to speak authentically about what I believe and who I am versus, you know, just pleasing everyone on the internet, because this is not why I left law, and this is just not who I am, right? I'm not just any dating coach, you know, spewing out all, you know, the regular sort of BS. This is not why I'm here. And, you know, I talk about ego a lot, but you know, it's something that we all fall prey to because we have lost ourselves in this society. We have forgotten who we are because we are so concerned with pleasing everyone else and, you know, pleasing the opposite sex and pleasing everyone that we lose ourselves. And everyone is prey to this, right? Even myself. And when I started coming out on YouTube land, and, you know, trying to, you know, get my message out there. And sometimes you got to please the algorithm because then your message doesn't get out there. So really support, if you really enjoy my work, it helps me if you like, comment, share, etc. Because that helps me get the message out. But the ego will get involved, and you got to check yourself, and you have to always come back to yourself, and not, you know, conform, because this is the world that we live in. Now today I had a whole video planned out for you guys, and it's scripted and it's beautiful and it's great, and I had, you know, this great producer help me with the script. Sorry, Sammy. I most likely will get back to that, but I was in the shower and I wanted to communicate, you know, from my heart, you know, what's really on my mind. And it is polarizing. And to be quite honest with you, when I started out in this world, when I left law, I am polarizing. And I started to sort of dim that light because of all the negativity that you get when you have strong beliefs about something. And I realized, for my own sense of, you know, my own integrity, I'm going to stick with who I am, and I'm going to deal with the hate that comes along with it, because it is very uncomfortable to be out as a woman exposing what you truly believe, because there's a lot of people that don't believe what you believe, right? And just to get right into it, what I wanted to talk about today is that men and women have moved so far from who they are. So men should be men and women should be women. Now, we live in this world where equality and, you know, sameness is sort of advocated. And while I do agree with some of that in terms of, you know, equal opportunity, etc. And when I say equal opportunity, I don't mean that you should, or a person should, get the same opportunities as someone else because of their skin color or gender, without having the skills, the skill set. You need to have the skill set, you need to have the education, you need to have that sort of expertise. So when I talk about equal opportunity, I'm talking about a woman and a man being qualified for the same job, having the same credentials, etc. You know, there should be equal pay and whatnot. And I believe that there is, right? I definitely believe that there is. I'm a lawyer as well. And, you know, I was not really discriminated. Although there were a lot of times where, yeah, I guess I was discriminated in some sense. There, you know, there's a lot of sexism in law. But I made my way. I still, you know, paved my own path. I still made a very good income doing what I did. Did I have the same exact opportunity as the males in the firm? No, I didn't. The males would get bigger files than I did, etc. It is what it is. Could I have worked harder to obtain those files? Could I have proved myself more? Probably, yes. Did I want to jump through all those hoops though? I didn't. So that is just the truth of it. I didn't. And because I am more feminine in my nature, although I am intelligent and I do want to earn a living and I'm an entrepreneur, I do not want to sacrifice my own energy and compromise my own essence just for a paycheck. So here's where the differences lie, and here is where I come in terms of valuing your own essence and valuing who you are as a woman, and not advocating for sameness, because we are not the same. We are not the same, and that is just the truth. A woman that is an attorney or a doctor, and everyone is different, right? If you have a more masculine core as a woman, you'll be triggered by my messages. So I'm not speaking to those women. I'm speaking to women that are more in their feminine nature. A woman that is more feminine in her nature is not going to want to sacrifice her career, nor should she, right? I am not saying that a feminine woman is not career-minded. I am clearly career-minded. I am also an entrepreneur. So there's that, aspect of me that strives for, the same sort of opportunities as men do. But am I going to want to work, 15 hours a day? Am I going to want to work on weekends? Am I going to want to sacrifice fun and pleasure and love? No, I'm not. I am not. Whereas a man, especially earlier in his career, is willing to do that. A man will sacrifice all those pleasures and joys of life and fulfillment at a certain period of his life because he wants to attain a certain level of success. That is the difference between men and women and the feminine and the masculine energy. There's nothing wrong with this, and it is what it is. Now, those men that actually do go out and earlier on in their career want to build themselves up and sacrifice, their own pursuit, I guess, of happiness to conquer, provide, etc. Those men are actually in their healthy energy. They're in their healthy masculine energy. And this is what I want to communicate about, because in the past and in terms of our ancestors, that's what men did. Men went out, men hunted, men had that role to provide and protect their family, or they had to go through this initiation process before they could even get a wife, before they were even attractive to the opposite sex. That is their role. And that's not really changed so much in our day today, because men that are still in the masculine energy, so the healthy energy, are still going to pursue that earlier on in their career. Whereas for women have swayed so much from their true authentic energy, and to no fault of their own, but society, right? We live in a masculine world, a masculine society. And unfortunately for women, if you are not competing, if you are not being aggressive, if you are not paving your way at the sacrifice of who you are, you're just not going to make it in life, right? So there is an element where women have had to step outside of who they are to make something of themselves, and that is not wrong. And I am not saying that that is not what one should do, because I myself, I was in government housing, I put myself through law school, I lived in a studio apartment, I've done everything on my own. There was a point where I was working 3 jobs. When I was an articling student, I was working nonstop. When I started my legal career, I was working weekends. I did put the time in. And at some point when I had earned enough, I left that. I left that career. I left that job because internally, having all the success and money is not what is fulfilling to a woman that is more in her feminine energy. What is fulfilling to a woman in her feminine energy is being able to operate and function in the world from her energy, from her essence. And that predominantly means, also finding love, right? Something that I really advocate in my work is, the polarity in relationships. And the polarity comes from that energy that the man carries, that masculine energy, and the energy that a feminine woman carries. And if a woman is so focused on making money, on egoic pursuits of making money, and at the sacrifice of love, she's not going to be attractive to a man that's in his masculine energy, because men that are in their masculine energy don't want to be with another man when they come home. Now, we've lost this essence. We have lost this aspect of ourselves. And even now, when I, am speaking to other women in law, these women are so aggressive. Women in law are the worst, I have to say. Women in these high-powered positions are extremely aggressive, and it's like they overcompensate to achieve, a similar result that a man can achieve, but they overcompensate for that, and they don't need to, right? As a young lawyer myself, I had many men that were partners of firms say to me, be who you are and don't change your energy or try to be like these other women that are, very, very aggressive, right? Because I was trying to emulate these female partners who, yes, they're very successful, but, I was able to get the same sort of result as they were with a different approach in terms of with men, right? You don't need to be so aggressive in your pursuit of something to prove yourself. And when a woman is so aggressive in trying to prove herself, there's an insecurity there, because there's a sense of, if I am not as aggressive, I'm not going to be heard. And that really is so far from the truth. You can be educated and intelligent and communicate your value without dominance, without showing off. In dating and relationships, this translates in a way where there's a messaging out there that men and women are the same, and that women should also be courting men, women should be initiating, women should be taking the lead in dating. And I could not disagree with this enough. Again, men and women are different. We have different roles in romantic relationships. And if you want to be the aggressor in your relationship, you are not going to attract a man that is fundamentally, at his core, a masculine energy man. Because a man that is masculine in his energy is going to want to be with a woman that is supportive, nurturing, loving, and is able to step back a little bit and let him be a man in the relationship. So men and women are not the same. In relationships, they are not the same. And if you want to say that they are the same, then I would ask you to look at your own relationships and look at what you are attracted to. If you are an aggressive woman, either you are with a man that is more passive. So a man that is more passive is, I'll just say it, he's weaker. He's not as masculine in his nature. He's scared of confrontation. He's a people pleaser. He's insecure, right? And so he will appease you. So either you are with that type of man, or you actually are with a man that is in his masculine energy, but you've muted him, you've silenced him, because you are so aggressive and you are never happy, and your energy is so dominating, and he's stuck in the relationship with you. So stuck in the relationship with you means he's married to you, and so there's financial consequences of him leaving. He has children with you, or that you have a business together. So if a man is with a woman under these conditions and he's not leaving, the reason he's not leaving is because he has no option. Because if he leaves, the consequences of not seeing his children, the financial consequences, because the courts favor women for some reason. There are a lot of shitty mothers out there, a lot of shitty women that use men and, will go to the court system just because courts favor the mother, even though the dad and the father figure is, much better. And it's very, very sad. So you'll find in those relationships that, what you want deep down, because a core need for a woman, whether you've suppressed it or not, is love, is to be desired. Every woman, doesn't matter how masculine you are, has this core desire. If you become so dominating and aggressive in your relationship and you are so egoic, you think you're the bee's knees because you're educated and you have money, which, by the way, means nothing, right? And you lead with that in your relationship, right? You lead with that versus leading with your feminine traits. The man that you're in a relationship with, although he has not left you, you are not going to really get what your heart desires from him, which is love, security, passion, desire. And, he's not going to look at you in a loving way. In fact, he's going to look at you in a way where you're going to be his competitor. He's going to look at you as someone that he has to compete with, and someone that he doesn't even feel good around, but someone that he has to just appease or he's going to be put in a very bad situation, and you're not going to get what you want in life, right? Unless you are a woman that is with more of a pleasing type man. So this man is, the agreeable man. And if you are a woman that is more in her masculine energy and you're with this type of man, and when I talk about pleasing, masculine energy men are going to please their spouse. They want to make their spouse happy, but they are absolutely not going to do that if a woman is disrespectful, is emasculating, talks down on him in public or private. They're not going to do that. They're going to have the courage to either speak up or pull away or completely detach from the relationship. So when I'm talking about a pleaser, I'm talking about a man that is extremely insecure, very, very emasculated, and still stays in the relationship with this dominating woman because of his insecurity. And oftentimes that happens because he was with a mom that sort of reflected that behavior. So if a son had a mom that he was always trying to win her love and nothing was ever good enough, he'll fall into that same dynamic when he is with in his adult life, because he'll fall into that dynamic with a woman as well. If you want to lead an authentic life and you want to attract a partner that is also authentic in who they are, you have to first take the lead in that. So we are not the same. Men and women are different. In order for there to be attraction in a relationship, a man has to take a man has to take that masculine role. A woman has to take her feminine role, and there's nothing wrong with that in romantic relationships. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, and you enjoy me just coming in and sharing videos like this, let me know, and I will continue to post videos more regularly. And follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and if you want to learn more, you can check out my books.